The Dolphin is the smallest car from BYD, the fastest growing car manufacturer in the UK. This is a car that thrives in the urban jungle, so we're bringing it to one of the most vibrant cities in Britain, Manchester. Home to two world-class football clubs, the northern branch of the BBC and the biggest metropolitan population outside of London. The city has also produced many of my favourite bands, so I've come on something of a personal pilgrimage to visit the birthplace of my guitar heroes. Come and join our road trip, powered by the plugged-in and fully electric BYD Dolphin.
We'll visit some of the landmark locations that sired and inspired bands such as Oasis, New Order, The Smiths and the Stone Roses, the groups that scored the soundtrack to my youth. The Dolphin should be a handy companion. It's small and agile and perfectly suited to city life, with a tight turning circle and a great view out, so we don't miss any of Manchester's numerous landmarks.
The BYD is really well suited to life around town. It's got a 150 kilowatt motor driving the front wheels, for that instant twang of acceleration whenever you need it. That's equivalent to around 204 horsepower, making this as potent really as many hot hatchbacks. And our design spec model will do 0 to 62 in just 7 seconds. There are lots of cup holders and places for your phones and water bottles in here. It's really well equipped. And this sat-nav, which is standard on every model, is really comprehensive and remarkably easy to use. It makes it very easy for an anorak like me to go and dig out all those Manchester musical venues, which mean so much to fans of indie music. Look, let's see if it can take us to somewhere that's very special to fans of a band like the Smiths.
Hey BYD, take me to Salford Lads Club.
My first musical memory from Manchester started here at the iconic Salford Lads Club. It was part of a backdrop to the famous The Queen is Dead album by the Smiths. I can't believe it came out nearly 4 decades ago, just as I was becoming a teenager. Morrissey and Marr were just one of the musical partnerships that came to define the sound of the city. A combination of witty northern lyrics and jangling guitars really became a trademark Manchester sound, and it's one which arguably still influences a lot of the indie bands of today.
And you know what? I think Mozza would have approved of the vegan leather seats in here.
And the BYD Dolphin does have a few musical tricks up its sleeve too. This 12.8-inch touchscreen will actually go portrait or landscape. A relatively small detail, but it means you can have your maps upright or sort of sideways, depending on what you prefer. And get this, the Stingray Karaoke app. It comes with every BYD Dolphin, and it's extraordinary. It's got more than 100,000 tracks on, so you will find every which Manchester band on here. And you simply sync your BYD Bluetooth microphone, and frankly, you can turn your car into a Tokyo karaoke bar. Do you have a bit of Oasis? Actually, I don't think you want to hear me sing.
When the Smiths split in 1987, Johnny Marr went on to form Electronic with another Mancunian, Bernard Sumner. He is something of a local legend, having been in 1970s post-punk band Joy Division and New Order, bands which introduced electro-synth beats alongside soaring guitars. It was a potent cocktail that went on to create a whole new scene in the 1980s and 1990s.
New Order teamed up with Factory Records boss Tony Wilson to launch the Hacienda. It was a venue for gigs and raves and a new kind of dancier, more electronic music. It was a real sound which was developed in Manchester in this period. We've just driven past the Hacienda. It's now a block of flats actually, but full of many memories.
The Hacienda was the beating heart of this blossoming northern music scene, fostering new subgenres, mixing synthesizers with indie guitar, psychedelia and pop. The baggy sound of Manchester was coming, and it was led by bands such as the Stone Roses, Happy Mondays and Inspiral Carpets, who fused the spirit of house music with guitar groove.
It feels appropriate that we're touring around Manchester in a new wave kind of car. The BYD Dolphin has a a very different take on life, from its avant-garde design to its new features and a very different way of doing things. With a 60 kilowatt-hour battery and a heat pump, the Dolphin has a WLTP range of 265 miles. Make that 350 if you stick in town. And when you do need to come to charge up, it'll take less than half an hour to go from 30 to 80%. One of the most impressive aspects of this car is the space on offer. It's a small family hatchback, it's around about 4.3 metres long, which means it's about the same as a Volkswagen Golf. Now, that's enabled by the BYD e-Platform 3.0 and a Blade battery, which runs very, very low in the bottom of the car's chassis. And that means there's no prop shaft, no transmission tunnel running the full length of the cabin, nothing getting in the way of your feet. I'm 6'3", and I can get very comfortable in either row of seats.
There's a roomy 345-litre boot too. And check out this handy underfloor compartment, perfect for storing charging cables and the like.
So you really could fit a Manchester 5-piece in here, but today it's just me. Our top spec design model comes with this rather nifty panoramic glass roof, which makes it very airy in here, and it also helps you spot some of the rather taller Manchester landmarks.
The Victorian city of Manchester really is buzzing today. It's got a vibrant energy to it that explains why it's long been a cultural hotspot of Great Britain.
Oh look, there's the home of Factory Records, one of the most influential sort of forces in the Manchester music scene, really.
There's musical history at every corner, but many of the key locations have been redeveloped. It reflects the spirit of progress and innovation that made Manchester great.
The BYD Dolphin has hit all the right notes on our Manchester musical tour. It's a right-sized, right-priced kind of electric car that makes choosing an EV so easy. It's really at home here in Manchester, and after spending 2 days exploring the city, I think we can safely say it's something of a rock and roll star.